Chinese nationals that have come into this country through the
I'm going to address
border?
everything. We're going to have a safe country.
Why are they here?
We're not going to, because they don't respect our leadership. Why did they send
She doesn't know what the fuck he's talking
the
about.
balloon over America? They never did that with me. They would have never
They did it like at least 4 times.
done it with me.
But I'm wondering what
They literally did.
the plan is. I mean,
And the worst thing is,
unrest.
Yeah, oh, we're all wondering what the plan is, Maria. The rest of us just aren't stupid enough to wait for it, because it ain't coming.
what these people do is disinformation. And I just see it today.
Right.
They said 2 weeks ago, well, maybe there was a balloon sent over during the Trump administration. There wasn't. Okay, now that was found out there wasn't. But
That's just a lie. There was more than one.
what they're doing is
There's 4, I think, was the count.
just saying we had a strong border. They had the worst border in the history of the world. There's never been a border like this, any country. But they figure if they keep saying it, they'll say all sorts of things. Look,
What are you worried that they're stealing your methodology? Your like cliff notes of Goebbels' journals?
they're not respected. They're like, it's like amateur night. Amateur night. Look at this hostage deal. And it's so complicated that nobody understands it. And that's the way they want it to be because it's such a bad deal. But
How do you know it's a bad deal if it's so complicated nobody understands it? If you don't understand it, maybe you don't understand it because you're incapable of understanding anything that's complex, because you're a stupid person.
glad our hostages are back.
Mr. President, I really want to focus on policy in this interview because I want to make
Yeah, do that, Maria.
sure people understand what your policy is.
Okay.
And with
Yeah, they want to know, what is the policy? Drill, baby, drill. Boom. I mean, come on. That's the policy. Everything else you can just look up in Project 2025. Or, sorry, Project 1825.
With regard to the military, there was a report today that the military has been so depleted that if there were ever a conflict between China and the United States, the U.S. would lose. A global conflict during World War II ended nearly 80 years ago. The nation was last prepared for such a fight during the Cold War, 35 years ago. And this commission finds that in many ways, China is in fact outpacing the United States and has largely negated the U.S. military advantage.
This is, by the way, this is the first time he's hearing these details. It's all bullshit. Let me tell you, the Chinese Navy, technically, because of how the CCP runs the country, any boat automatically becomes a part of the Navy in a war. That means every fucking fishing boat is now a battleship. Fuck off with this nonsense. All right, Miss Outpacing. Holy shit. Let's see. And super carrier crack. I should. Yeah, that'll do it. Hey, here you go, Maria. This is for you. This for you. This June of last year. Major cracks spotted on Chinese aircraft carrier Fujian. Recent online rumors say that one of 2 Chinese aircraft carriers allegedly has cracks on its deck. Satellite images of the Fujian aircraft carrier type 003 confirm the rumors. It was launched in 2022 and is the first fixed-wing aircraft carrier with a fully indigenous design. Adorable. A catabar system and electromagnetic catapults. These are the front of the fucking boat is falling off. Big major crack spotted in the Chinese aircraft carrier Fujian. Recent online rumors. Like, look at that. That's a satellite image of their supercarrier. The front hull isn't structurally strong enough to hold the fucking runway, and it hasn't even been deployed yet. It hasn't been deployed yet. But sorry, you were saying something about China's eating our lunch or something.
In the
Can you
Western
imagine-
Pacific. How can you change that?
Can you imagine having a commission of military officers and other things say anything like that? Even if it's true, why would you ever release a report like that? It puts us in such a bad position and a bad light. But people want to...
But, by the way, why is he reacting to this that way? Because his sales point is, I rebuilt the military. All new stuff. Everything's brand new. I restocked the shelves. Right? Don't start bringing up the fucking Navy and talk about Ukraine We didn't send them boats, dum-dum.
We have a great military. I've proved that with ISIS. I knocked them out in 4 weeks. They were supposed to be, it was going to take 5.
Then how'd they kill the people at Soleimani's funeral? How'd they blow up a bunch of people when we were leaving Afghanistan? How do they have like 3 bases in northern Afghanistan surrounded? Why is that ISIS-K territory if you knock them out in 4 weeks?
5 years, if I listen to these generals from Washington that are on television, like Milley, it was almost an impossible thing. We knocked them out in 4 weeks. Look, we have woke people on the top, but the military is not woke. The military is incredible. If you look at the job they did for me on ISIS, it was unbelievable. It was...
You're right. It's not believable.
Surgical. We have the greatest...
It was not surgical. It was the opposite. Surgery takes time. This was blatant bullshit. This was just open bombing campaigns. It was the release of the military from the rules of engagement that shortened the fighting time because they didn't care if they killed civilians.
This military. But can you imagine somebody writing a report like that? It's so bad, and then releasing it for the world to see. That's a very bad report.
This is the choice.
Yeah, Maria, why are you reading that, you absolute turd?
The National Defense Strategy recognizes these nations as top threats to the United States and declares China to be the pacing challenge right now.
But when they write a report saying we can't beat China, I think that's a very negative thing. It's one thing.
Yeah. Again, it's not true, but if it was true, it would be negative, and therefore, if you wanted to turn it into a positive, it would require a policy of how to deal with it, dipshit, not bitching about the report.
Thing to have a meeting and saying that we got to get our act together. You know, I rebuilt our military, largely rebuilt.
See, this is why he's pissed.
Do you need to do it again?
We had jets that are 50 years old. Well, we gave $85 billion.
Yeah, people training them.
But to...
Hey, don't you have a jet that's 50 years old?
Afghanistan, how about that? $85 billion we gave. Do you know that Afghanistan is one of the largest sellers of military equipment in the world?
I mean, it's just a lie. Just silly. It's stupid. This is ridiculous. They're the biggest sellers of military scrap metal.
They're selling the equipment that we gave them when...
Really, then why aren't you seeing like U.S. military equipment showing up in Burkina Faso or in Sudan or fucking in Gaza, for that matter, or in Russia headed the other direction? Why, if Russia has a relationship with Afghanistan through China, why the fuck do they need to get stuff from North Korea? Afghanistan's way fucking closer. Why don't they just buy our shit from them, and then why don't we see it coming the other way on the battlefield at all? If that's true, who the fuck are they selling it to? Who? Where is it? It's not even showing up in South America. The dude's walking around with AK-47s down there, dum-dum. It's so weird. To who? To who? And again, it wasn't 85 billion. Absolutely, David in the chat room. It wasn't 85 billion in equipment. It's 85 billion in total equipment, training, everything over the course of the 20 years that we were there, most of which was pulped during Obama. It was literally, they had scrap dealers in Afghanistan pissed that we were shredding the metal. And they're like, can you at least leave some of the panels whole so we could sell them as chunks of metal instead of, it's just like this tossed salad of leftover shredded iron, steel.
Really low IQ president pulled out, and he pulled out the military first.
No, he didn't. You can literally see a soldier is the last person leaving, and he's not even walking backwards with his gun facing out because he knows there's nobody to take a shot at him. He literally walks in with his back to the tarmac.
Are you going to
He pulled out. Think of that. He pulled out the military. That's why we had 13 dead.
By the way, we had military in the far reaches of the country. Pull them out. Then you start moving out the military and the administrative staff and the embassy staff in in Kabul. Of course, why would you leave those soldiers in the field as the Taliban is coming across the country if you're not going to defend it? If your whole purpose is just to get out of the country, it's just stupid. He doesn't even know what he's talking about. It's just gibberish. He says this all the time. And the lie gets dumber every time he tells it.
Soldiers, but we also had 45 soldiers who were no legs, no arms, the face, the whole thing. And we also have
the face, the whole thing. And then, you know, I don't know any of their names, even the dead ones, but the whole thing.
You know, we still have Americans left behind in Afghanistan.
No, we do not.
Right?
No, we do not.
I mean, and we gave up Bagram, one of the biggest air bases in the world.
Yeah, that's what leaving means. That's what leaving means. We're not staying. If we still had Bagram, we would still be there. Also, ISIS has Bagram surrounded, has for a long time. The Taliban has ceded that territory to ISIS. So what are we supposed to do? Fly our people in and out of there, set our soldiers up in this random place in the middle of a hot desert for no fucking particular reason, except it's an hour flight to where China makes its nuclear weapons? Who gives a shit if they're already in the air? What are we going to do? Fire so they can't make more in the middle of World War III? What are you talking about?
We gave it up. It was almost like we fled.
We didn't flee. It is in our country. And also just his like total fucking disregard for the soldiers. They didn't flee. They followed orders. We left. You negotiated a surrender.
Is the most incompetent act. I think it was the lowest point in the history of our country.
Also, why? Clearly January 6th was. You fucking weirdo. Now, on top of that, if I may, let's back up. I know I'm going long
on
today
TikTok. I see that
morning, and I'm just gonna. And I normally don't do clips in the morning, but since I can't do an afternoon show, is that cool with everybody? If I just hang around for a bit, like, subscribe, give a thumbs up, share the show, etc., etc., etc. This is more of Maria Bartiromo's interview with Trump yesterday, I believe, last night, this morning, maybe even when it aired. I don't know when they taped it. It's hard to tell. And Trump says, I was kicking their ass. Trump says China doesn't want him to win. Well, then why did they help him launder money so that he could pay off voters in the Midwest and in the farm states? You don't think that was a real government bailout, do you? So,
about TikTok. I see that there's a lot of propaganda on TikTok, and
yeah, TikTok, bad. Fuck TikTok. Agreed. Go get him, Maria. He'll totally be with you. He'll go, yes, I agree. It's Chinese malware. We got to get rid of this shit.
Seeing a lot of positives about Kamala Harris is China. The CCP all in for Kamala Harris on TikTok.
Well, you know, China probably wants her because China understands that I understand China. She doesn't.
China understands that I understand China. I don't understand Chinese or the culture or how their government works or what they're doing or what they did do or how they did it or what they're doing or what they might do, but they understand that.
And it's interesting. If people want to save TikTok, they have to vote for me. If they don't.
What? Hang on. TikTok is Chinese malware. Get off TikTok. TikTok, everybody. I'm just telling you. Fuck TikTok. It's terrible. It's a manipulative algorithm. It's meant to take the place of Windows. It's just horrible. It's terrible. ByteDance is a terrible company. It's linked to the CCP. It's awful. TikTok sucks. Fuck TikTok. Okay? That's my point of view. Fuck TikTok. Now let's listen.
It's interesting. If people want to save TikTok, they have to vote for me.
Right. TikTok is a Chinese-owned company. It is owned by a company called ByteDance. The Chinese government, and specifically the military, owns a controlling interest in that. In China, they have all sorts of limits on the algorithm and what it can allow people to see. They don't have that in other countries because it is meant to destabilize countries. That's what it is designed for. Fuck TikTok.
If they don't want to save TikTok, you know, well, let's see what happens. But
what does that mean? If they don't want to save TikTok, let's see what happens. Assholes, she was just pointing out the fact that Kamala Harris has an account on TikTok, and there's a lot of pro-TikTok stuff in the United States that's boosting her. But you just said you would be the one that would save it, and Democrats are the ones that are like, look, if it's here, we're going to use it up until this thing. But if we can, we can overrun the algorithm as best we can, and they're going to try and kiss our ass to make sure that we don't know what they're trying to do. But let's be honest, TikTok is here to fuck shit up, and he wants it.
China doesn't want me to win, obviously, because...
Yeah, obviously. That's why after you killed the Trans-Pacific Partnership, they gave you $17 million.
I was kicking China's ass. Nobody ever beat China. I took hundreds of billions of dollars out of China.
No, he didn't.
Took contracts away from China.
No, he didn't.
I took the phone system away from China going to...
The phone system? You mean Huawei?
Italy and to other countries. China...
I took the phone system away from China going to Italy and other countries. What in the hell? I mean, Canada locked up the head of Huawei when she was there.
China will do everything they can. And it's one of the things that's really a little bit nerve-wracking.
Is it?
They are putting the full force. They don't want me. They want to continue to rip off America. And with me, they can't rip. Look.
With me, they can't rip. What was that again?
They want to continue to rip off America. And with me, they can't rip. Look, she is not a...
Jesus Christ. And with me, they can't rip. Good Lord.
Smart person. She's not a smart person. If you look back 5 weeks ago, before this whole thing happened, where, you know, it's a coup of Joe Biden, and all of a sudden the media says, well, we're stuck with her, so now we're going to make her smart. And these are people that are very pro-China. These are people that are pro-other countries. These are people that look at a world view and they think the United States is going to be a dumping ground for the rest of the world. These...
No. If they did, then why would they have ever let the Chips and Science Act pass? If you want to talk about a dumping ground, why would you kill the border bill? Which specifically had a bunch of protections in it, not the least of which were new technology to stop fentanyl trafficking.
These are people that are not good for our country. But China wants to have her so badly. They wanted Joe Biden too. They wanted anybody but me. I've taken hundreds of billions of dollars away from China.
No, he has not. Okay, what he's talking about is he believed that there. Well, I'll show you shit. The trade deficit, right? Remember, it was tens of billions that he gave to the farmers. That's what he was talking about. That's a direct cash payment. China paid that in tariffs and were okay with it because it gave him direct money so that he could buy off voters because they wanted him to stay in office. But let's go to like U.S. China trade deficit. A chart. I need a chart of it. Here we go. This is the U.S. Trade deficit for the implement. Here's after the Chips and Science Act. Hold on one second. This is before the Chips and Science Act. This is 2020. It drops down. Then it goes to here, and then it goes to here. So people are buying shit, right? But even still, a trade deficit is things made in China, bought by American companies, resold for profit in other markets too. We don't just buy their shit. We're not buying Chinese stuff. We're having stuff made there, which is a whole different thing. But look at the trade deficit in 2023. The U.S.-China trade deficit in 2023 is lower than it was during the pandemic, which was its lowest point in 14, 15 years. Sorry. How this will be challenging for you. Please explain how Biden had a coup because he chose to be dignified and leave office with a fully ready to go backup plan with action. Yes, it's very difficult, Surrender Monkey, to even understand where this dipshit is coming from in that regard. But he's like, he thinks they threatened him because that's what's happening to him. America has the lowest trade deficit with China that it has had on, on this entire chart, I would like to say, under Joe Biden, specifically because of the Chips and Science Act.
Taking business.
Not because this asshole decided to reward a country he says attacked us with a bioweapon with the largest sale of beef, pork, corn, and soybean in our lifetime.
This is away from China. China is not doing well right now because of me. You know.
Yeah, is that what it is? Because of you? Still? Because what? You told everybody to vote for the Chips and Science Act?
Biden cannot get rid of the taxes, the tariffs that I put on China. Can't. You know.
Sure he could.
Why? Because they take in so much money.
Yeah, but if he wanted to help China and he thought it would raise his chances of getting reelected, right?
The one that did that. And one thing, before me, there was no other president that took 10 cents out of China.
Well,
Okay, first of all, of course they did. I mean, specifically, Obama's steel tariffs are one of the biggest, most obvious examples. But real quick, why does Donald Trump keep saying this? Nobody took 10 cents out of China. Why in the world? What? Nobody could get 10 cents out of China. Why does he keep saying that? Because this dumb motherfucker thinks thinks that sanctioning or tariffing 10 cent is what he wasn't able to do it either. Nobody was. 10 cent is a company, you dumb motherfucker. That's why he keeps saying 10 cents. That's why he keeps saying 10 cents. It's goofy. Like it's odd because it's so amazingly dumb that he heard 10 cent and thinks 10 cents. He thinks somebody in his staff told him that, nope, you should go after 10 cent because no other president has been able to go after 10 cent. Now, the Chips and Science Act did a tremendous amount of damage to 10 cent. But he doesn't know that that's what they're talking about. It's the same problem with insane asylums and asylum seekers. That's how stupid he is. It's so over the top stupid. It's hard to even grasp that. I mean, because he's a grown man. He was president of the United States. Like, the access to information this dickhead had is off the chain. That's why he keeps listen to him again.
There was no other president that took 10 cents out of China.
Well, they.
All right, real quick. Let's see. Let's see. Here's a good example. And this is from CNN Business, where they were all mad. They were butthurt about the tariffs in the first place. They don't even like them from Obama. President Obama slapped a stiff 35% tariff on Chinese tires in 2009 after they had an unfair competition complaint from tire manufacturers in the United States. They said China was flooding America with tires at low prices, making it tough for U.S. companies to compete. Tariff gradually waned and finally ended in 2012. The tariff saved 1,200 U.S. tire jobs, which had been in sharp decline. That's okay. So on a monetary level, of course, other presidents have put on tariffs and have gotten money from that. All right. It's that Trump doesn't understand there's a company called 10 cent. That's what this is. It's so painfully dumb.
They say that they're a developing nation. Meanwhile,
yeah, they do that. Well, they're not we're a developing
economy. Why is the Trump campaign on TikTok? A CCP control?
Yeah, because no, I want that. I mean, I said I want to go on TikTok. I'm the one that says we should save TikTok.
You can't.
You didn't hear what she said, did she? She's like a CCP controlled piece of software. That's what it is.
Get respect on these big platforms. Do you think it's fair to go back to X as well as your Truth Social? Of course, you've got Truth Social.
Truth Social is doing phenomenal. Look, that's my voice. But
No, it's not. Hold on, real quick. Also, that's your voice? Okay, well, apparently you're losing your voice because social traffic down. That's the outages. Yeah, here you go. Red flag raised over Truth Social's low traffic. It's not uncommon amongst right-wing stuff. Let's see. Yeah. The three big sites, Truth Sinkhole, Rumble, and I think Gab. It's the Writings did this analysis of this stuff. Yeah, Truth Social slumps again. There we go. Let me blow this up. Traffic, Truth Social traffic nosedives for the third straight month. This is July 30th. This is just a couple days ago. Audience continue to abandon news websites in June. The writing released its June 2024 election year traffic analysis of mobile and desktop traffic for right-wing and mainstream news websites based on Comscore data. Among the highlights of the writings, it finds Truth Social slumps once again. The Donald Trump-controlled Truth Social platform recorded its third straight month of declining traffic. Truth Social attracted 2 million unique viewers, unique visitors, down 38% from the year previous. In 2023, they had 3.4 unique visitors. Now they're down to 2. That doesn't even, and that's letting the bots slide. Just letting you know. It was the platform's second worst traffic performance since June of 2022, when it had only 1.8 million unique subscribers, visitors. The site launched in February of that year with 3.2. So it had an ebb and flow in a couple of months, and then it normaled out. And then it has eaten shit ever since. Rumble, only 6.3 million unique visitors, down 43% from a year ago. Truth Social, down 38%. Getter, down 34% from a year ago. It's great. It's my voice. And my voice sounds like a cartoon version of Alex Jones now.
X, it's great that he bought it. It's great that Elon bought it.
No, it's not.
Because I'm for our country more than I'm for anything else. And they
You mean Russia, right?
were really dishonest with Twitter. I don't know. I'm not sure that you're sort of interested. It's a very interesting thing. Should they have changed the name and all that? But that doesn't matter. Look, it was great that Elon bought it because we have a voice. We had no voice on Twitter. We had no voice at all. You put everything you put out, they'd put a flag on it. No matter what you said, they'd put a flag on it.
They don't put flags on it. Users can do that, and it didn't affect the algorithm at all, even before he owned the fucking place.
No, I think he's trying to do a really good job. I think he's doing an important job. I don't know if it's a good business deal. Maybe not. Probably it's not a good business deal, but I think it's important that he bought it.
Okay, so it's just propaganda. He doesn't have to make money on it. It's terrible business, but it's great for you, which, you know, is how you run most of your businesses, I guess. That's that.
You've explained it.
Shut up.